Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to depart for Johannesburg shortly to attend G20 Leaders Summit, also to participate in India, Brazil, South Africa Leaders Meet. India and Israel to begin FTA negotiations. Ink terms of reference. Commerce Minister says dates would be finalized soon. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss US proposed Russia-Ukraine peace plan with Donald Trump soon. India's food grain output breaks all previous highs, adding new chapters of success to country's agriculture sector. And in sports, Nikhat Zareen and Jasmine Lamboria lead India's gold rush as the country's pugilists finish with 20 medals, including 9 golds at the World Boxing Cup finals on the outskirts of New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will depart for Johannesburg, South Africa in a short while from now to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit being hosted by Republic of South Africa. This will be the 4th consecutive G20 Summit held in the Global South. At the summit, Prime Minister will put forth India's perspectives on the G20 agenda. Prime Minister is expected to speak in all the 3 sessions of the summit. The sessions are on inclusive and sustainable economic growth, leaving no one behind, building our economies, the role of trade, financing for development and the debt burden. The second session would be on a resilient world, the G20's contribution, disaster risk reduction, climate change, just energy transitions, food system. And the third one would be a fair and just future for all, critical minerals, decent work, artificial intelligence. On the margins of the G20 Leaders Summit, Prime Minister is expected to hold bilateral meetings with some of the leaders present in Johannesburg. Prime Minister will also be participating in the India, Brazil, South Africa IBSA Leaders Meeting being hosted by South Africa. Addressing the media on Prime Minister's visit, Secretary ER at the Ministry of External Affairs, Sudhakar Dalela, said that this will be the Prime Minister's 4th official visit to South Africa. He also highlighted that the summit, which is the first G20 summit to take place on African soil, will focus on the Global South.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will be visiting Johannesburg, South Africa from 21st to 23rd of November. To attend the G20 Leaders Summit at the invitation of President of South Africa. This will be Prime Minister's 4th official visit to South Africa, following his bilateral visit in 2016 and later for the 2 BRICS summits in 2018 and 2023. This is the first G20 summit that will be happening on African soil, and in that context will bring the spotlight on the development issues of Africa as also of the Global South.
Calling the G20 summit a premium forum for international economic cooperation, Sudhakar Dalela also highlighted that G20 nations represent over 85% of the global GDP.
Has emerged as a premium forum for international economic cooperation as well as for discussing matters of global significance. The G20 provides an excellent opportunity for the leaders of these large economies and emerging economies, representing over 85% of global GDP and around 3/4 of the world population, to come together and discuss important issues impacting the world. The priorities identified by South Africa are aligned with those of India's G20 presidency and that of Brazil, ensuring continuity in the G20 discussions from the perspective of matters that are important to Global South. PM will be participating in the IPSA, India, Brazil, South Africa Leaders Meeting, as well as holding bilateral meeting with several leaders who will be present in Johannesburg.
In a landmark development, India and Israel formally initiated negotiations for a comprehensive free trade agreement on Thursday by signing the terms of reference, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal announced during the visit. Describing the move as historic, Minister Goyal stated that dates for the inaugural round of talks would be finalized shortly, aiming to boost bilateral trade from the current $20 billion United States dollars to $40 billion within 5 years. The agreement targets enhanced market access in sectors including information technology, agriculture, pharmaceuticals and defense, building on a preferential trade pact since 2013. Israeli Economy Minister Nir Barkat hailed the step as a catalyst for innovation-driven growth, while Indian officials emphasized mutual benefits for small and medium enterprises. Negotiations, paused briefly due to geopolitical tensions, now prioritize swift conclusion to foster resilient supply chains. And on to updates from Goa, where the 56th edition of International Film Festival of India kicked off with its first ever cultural parade that brought together the world of cinema under one roof. An exclusive report by DD India's Deepika Mehto.
The 56th International Film Festival of India opened with an immersive grand parade. With its maiden parade opening, IFFI welcomed its audience with a moving celebration revealed through rhythm, colour, pride and breathtaking imagination. From Entertainment Society of Goa office to Kala Academy, this one-of-its-kind parade transformed the streets of Goa into a living canvas of India's cinematic and cultural brilliance.
I welcome one and all those who have come specially for the International Film Festival 2025. Why the IFFI flourished here for more than 2 decades? The answer is simple. The Goa is ready to offer the world-class infrastructure.
Under the visionary leader, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, he speak about this cinema and media entertainment sector. Our Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that, I mentioned this quote, this is the time of dawn of orange economy in India, content, creativity and culture, the 3 pillars of orange economy.
The parade was led by the magnificent state tableaus of Andhra Pradesh, Haryana and Goa, each presenting a vivid portrait of identity and imagination. The parade opened with breathtaking energy of Central Bureau of Communications Bharat Ek Sur presentation. Waves OTT stole the show with its magnificent display. Adding charm, nostalgia and delight were India's beloved animation favourites Chota Bheem and Chutki and Motu Patlu and Bittu Bahanebaz. Moving on, the day also witnessed the felicitation of the cast of the opening film, The Blue Trail by Gabriel Mascaro.
No, I'm so happy to be able to share my movie with the Indian audience. It's a very special festival. I've been here 5 years ago and I'm so happy to be back and see the festival alive and being able to be connected to the Indian industry, cinema industry is so special. I'm so happy to be here.
The 10-day extravaganza has officially kick-started now, where global celebrities, filmmakers and emerging talent will not only walk the red carpet, but will witness the convergence of several film industries from around the globe under one roof.
And with such colourful displays, IFFI 2025 kick-started with a grand opening parade this time, showcasing rich cultural heritage of the film industry of not only the world, but the entire globe, bringing together all under the single roof. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India.
The 56th edition of IFFI opened with the Brazilian film Blue Trail, directed by Gabriel Mascaro. DD India's Deepika, in an exclusive conversation, spoke to the director of the film, Shekhar Kapoor.
All right, we have with us the opening film's director, Mr. Gabriel, and we also have with us Mr. Shekhar Kapoor, who is the festival director here. First of all, Mr. Kapoor, talking to you. What do you have to say about the 56th edition of IFFI? More than 80 countries are participating in it, and yet another successful edition under your supervision.
It's not my supervision. I don't do anything. I just get the name. I'm just a director in name. I just arrange for people to come and dance on the streets, and that's it. That's it. They make the films.
Mr. Gabriel, the opening film is The Blue Trail, an interesting story, a Brazilian movie. How do you look at its participation at IFFI?
No, I'm so happy to be able to share my movie with the Indian audience. It's a very special festival. I've been here 5 years ago, and I'm so happy to be back and see the festival alive and being able to be connected to the Indian industry, cinema industry is so special. I'm so happy to be here.
Mr. Kapoor, a quick last question to you. I know you have to go. What do you have to say about India going global?
Stories are international. If we don't share stories, that's how we make peace with each other. That's how we get to know each other. So Indian stories is shared with American stories, Brazilian stories. We have to share stories. India's been global for years. Yeah, it's just now we're finding it out, but it's been global for years. Yeah.
India is going definitely global because IFFI is the place where innovation meets creativity.
Yes, we can see a lot of Indian films going out. We have recently seen lots of Indian movie in the International Film Festival. So it's so great to be able to also see Indian independent cinemas, independent movies everywhere. So you have a huge industry like Bollywood, but you also have a lot of Indian independent movies. So I'm so happy to know that your country has diversity. It's very important.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you so much, Mr. Kapoor. So there you heard Mr. Kapoor and Mr. Gabriel talking about the opening film, The Blue Trail.
The opening ceremony of IFFI Waves Film Bazaar was held with great fanfare on Thursday. The event was attended by many dignitaries, including MOS for the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, Secretary Sanjay Jaju, filmmaker Shekhar Kapoor, Anupam Kher, guest of honor from the Republic of Korea, Jaewon Kim, and many others. Waves Film Bazaar is India's premier film market, offering co-production opportunities and networking. Addressing the occasion, MOS Dr. Murugan quoted Prime Minister Modi's vision regarding Waves Film Bazaar, saying this year's bazaar will have many engaging activities while serving as a bridge between India and the world.
In this 19th edition of Waves Film Bazaar, brings a significant expand of many dynamic marketplaces, strengthening its global footprint this year with features such as here the co-production market, screen lighting lab, work in progress lab, viewing room, knowledge series. So various activities are going to take place from today onwards up to 24th of this month, this Waves Bazaar.
Speaking at the inaugural event, Secretary Sanjay Jaju said Waves Bazaar has donned a new look this year based on the vision of Prime Minister Modi, who envisioned craft to commerce and passion to paisa.
IFFI has for decades been India's flagship celebration of cinema, bringing together world cinema and Indian cinema on one platform and showcasing the best of storytelling from across the globe. Friends, Film Bazaar has always been an integral part of IFFI. But if you have noticed, we have come here today in a new avatar called as the Waves Film Bazaar. While IFFI Bazaar has been happening for close to 2 decades now, as all of you are aware, our Honorable Prime Minister gave us the vision to translate craft into commerce, to convert passion into paisa. And that's where we are, at the bazaar.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. From tariffs to US price pressures, Donald Trump strikes tariffs on Brazilian coffee, beef and other food products. Mummies from South Africa, Egypt and France on display at a Paris museum. And the highly anticipated 2025-26 Ashes series begins today in Perth.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he had discussed with the visiting Secretary of the US Army on Thursday ways to work with Washington on a plan to end the conflict with Russia. After meeting a delegation that included Daniel Driscoll, Secretary of the US Army in Kiev, Zelensky, in a social media post, said that their teams will work on the points of the plan to end the conflict. Zelensky's office said that he had received a draft of the US-backed plan and he expects to discuss it with US President Donald Trump in the coming days. Following the Ukraine-US officials meet, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Thursday said that the administration is having good conversations with both parties to the conflict about how to end it.
So they have been engaged with both sides, and these talks are continuing. As always, I'm not going to litigate the details of this plan as it's ongoing and it's in flux, but the president supports this plan. It's a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine, and we believe that it should be acceptable to both sides, and we're working very hard to get it done.
Meanwhile, at the UN Security Council meeting, Russia defended its attack on Ukraine while the United States and Ukraine pressed for an immediate ceasefire and a viable path to peace. US Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz urged all sides to halt the fighting, saying diplomacy is the only path to a durable and just peace. And Ukraine's Deputy UN Ambassador said Kiev is prepared to work with the United States, Europe and others on a draft peace plan, but stressed red lines, including no recognition of territory occupied by Russia.
The bottom line is the costs to all sides have been devastating, and it is beyond time for this war to end. And I would hope that we would all agree that this war will not end militarily. Russia's and Ukraine's leaders must negotiate. Both Russia and Ukraine must accept a ceasefire.
Since the beginning of this year, Ukraine has supported President Trump's proposals aimed at ending the war. We are ready as before to work constructively with the American side as well as with our European partners and around the world so that the outcome is peace. Ukraine has officially received from the American side a draft plan. We outlined the fundamental principles that matter to our people. We agree to work on the plan's provisions in a way that would bring about a just end of the war. In this context, allow me to make several critical points. First, while Ukraine stands ready to engage in meaningful negotiations to end this war, including at the leaders' level, our red lines are clear and unwavering. There will never be any recognition, formal or otherwise, of Ukrainian territory temporarily occupied by the Russian Federation as Russian.
While Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia accused President Volodymyr Zelensky of enforcing violent mobilization, forbidding retreats and seeking a ceasefire only to make sure that their defeated forces get a long-awaited breather.
Несмотря на окружение значительного Despite the encirclement of large numbers of Ukrainian forces, huge losses, violent mobilization, threats to civilians, the head of the Kyiv regime forbids acknowledging the loss of cities, orders positions to be held down to the last man, and bans retreat. This policy by Ukrainian leadership has nothing to do with military reality and is purely political in nature. Zelensky wants to show his Western sponsors that the front is holding, hoping for continued funding for his war with Russia. And he needs billions to keep the war going for his own enrichment and his ilk's enrichment, and so as to stay in power. Meanwhile, Kyiv is crying out for ceasefire, and Kyiv's European accomplices are saying the same things. And the price of these calls to us is very obvious. This so-called immediate and urgent ceasefire is needed for Ukraine, only to make sure that their defeated forces get a long-awaited breather. As for the hypocritical appeal for peace from the former European partners, neither Zelensky nor his handlers seek peace.
US President Donald Trump on Thursday removed his 40% tariffs on Brazilian food products, including beef, coffee, cocoa, fruits that were imposed in July, dropping steep tariffs he imposed this summer. In an exclusive order released by the White House, the order will affect Brazilian imports to the US on or after November 13th and may require a refund of the duties collected on those goods while the tariffs were still being charged. The order effectively removes the 40% duty that was still on those goods after Trump dropped Brazil's 10% reciprocal duty on a long list of food products as part of a separate action last week. The move follows a similar order by the administration last Friday to remove tariffs on several agricultural products as the White House makes a U-turn on some tariffs that have increased the cost of food in the United States. Brazil normally supplies a third of the coffee used in the United States and has more recently become an important supplier of beef, particularly the type that is used to make burgers. And next we take a look at other stories making news across the world. Mummies from South America, Egypt and France are now on display at Paris's Musée de Homme as part of a major exhibition exploring ancient body preservation techniques. Titled Mummies, the showcase offers visitors a rare close look at centuries-old practices. The exhibit explains how methods evolved over time from ancient evisceration to modern preservation using chemical fluids. The display is open to the public until May 25th, 2026. US actor Chadwick Boseman, best known for his role in Black Panther, has been awarded a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Boseman, who died in 2020 from colon cancer, continues to be remembered for his powerful performances and cultural impact. His widow, Simone Leeward Boseman, accepted the honor on his behalf. Julien's Auctions and Turner Classic Movies have revealed a preview of film and TV memorabilia ahead of the year-end Hollywood Legends sale. Nearly 1,500 pieces from 10 decades of pop culture will go under the hammer, including screen-worn costumes, props, artwork and rare production items. The December event will highlight iconic treasures from Hollywood's golden age to today. India has achieved record total food production for the year 2024-25 compared to the previous year. India's Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, released the final estimates of crop production for 2024-25 in New Delhi. He expressed gratitude to the nation's farmers for achieving this record high output. He also welcomed the encouraging rise in the production of pulses and oil seeds. The Union Minister said India is witnessing the highest increase in food grain production in the last 10 years. From 251.54 million tons in 2015-16, production has risen by 106 million tons to reach 357.73 million tons. This reflects the rapid growth in the agriculture sector under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Nikhat Zareen and Jasmine Lamboria led India's gold rush as the country's pugilists finished with 20 medals, including 9 gold and 6 silver and 5 bronze at the World Boxing Cup finals on the outskirts of New Delhi. Reigning women's 48 kg champion Meenakshi Huda registered the first gold for India after beating Uzbekistan's Fazilova Farzona in Greater Noida, while Zareen and Lamboria set the tone for the evening session. Nikhat dominated Chinese Taipei's Yi Xuan-guo 5-0 by unanimous decision in the 51 kg women's final before Jasmine beat Wu Xin-Yi in the 57 kg boxing title decider by a 4-1 margin. In fact, all 20 Indian boxers who competed in the 5-day season ender managed a podium finish. The Indian women boxers ruled the show, winning 7 of the 10 possible gold medals, while the 2 men managed 2. The highly anticipated 2025-26 Ashes series is set to begin on Friday, with Australia and England set to face each other in Perth in the first test. The Australian conditions will provide the sternest test yet for the visiting England and its aggressive brand of cricket. England faced a 0-4 drubbing on its last visit down under, which eventually forced the side to transition into its current version. England head coach Brendan McCullum believes that reclaiming the Ashes on Australian soil would be a defining moment for England. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates from India and the world. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.